Okay, boys and girls, do you have your close reading book opened up to page 12? Go ahead and do that. And let's look at the title. It says, Matter Changes in Many Ways. Do you remember what matter is? That's right, matter is everywhere. Okay, let's put our finger on the first word and read more about matter. It says everything in the world is made of matter. What we eat, what we drink, what we make, what we wear. Even the air we breathe is matter. There are three main states of matter: solid, liquid, and gas. Each has properties such as a size and a shape. Do you remember what the word properties means? Well, the rest of the sentence talks about size and shape, so properties must be something that something else has, okay? So if we're going to annotate, what would we say about matter? What would you write? That's right. Matter is everywhere, right? Okay, there's three states of matter. And now remember, states is not the same as the states that's in the United States, okay? This word states means forms, okay? There's solid, liquid, and gas. Okay, and it talked about properties. Size and shape, right? Okay, let's read on to learn more. Do you remember what this is called? That's right, it is called a heading. Okay, if there was a smaller one underneath, that would be called a subheading. Okay, so in this particular paragraph, we're going to be looking for information about changing size. Okay, liquid matter can change size. The same amount of liquid can be put into one container or two smaller containers. Whether it is in one or two containers, it's the same amount of liquid. When it is divided, the size changes. Okay, so let's think about this. That can be a little bit confusing. But think of your milk, your chocolate milk at lunchtime. If you took your chocolate milk and poured some of it into another container, there would still be the same amount of liquid, but it was just divided in two containers. But if you looked inside of one of the containers, there would be a much less amount, right? That's what they're talking about. Okay, let's read our caption. It says, when a carrot is chopped up, it changes shape. The pieces are still solid matter. Okay, and if we look at the carrot, this one here is kind of in the shape of a cone, right? But when it gets cut up, okay, it's more circular. Okay, let's move on. Okay, our next heading is called changing shape. Shape is another property of matter that can be changed. A liquid shape changes when placed into the different containers. A carrot is a solid. When a carrot is cut, its shape changes. Oh, so this picture here supports which sentence? That's right. This sentence here, when a carrot is cut, its shape changes. And the picture supports that by showing us that. Okay, let's continue on. Gas can change its shape too. Gases expand or spread out to fill the container they are in. Okay, let's stop and think about this word expand. Did the author give us context clues telling us what that word means? That's right. Expand means spread out. This word here was a clue. It told us that they're going to tell us what it means. Air is a mixture of gases. The same amount of air can be pumped tightly in a tire, or it can expand to fill a room. So let's stop and think. If we're going to annotate this part here, what was the author mostly telling us about? Exactly, it tells us how matter changes shape, right? What were some examples they gave us? Okay, the solid changes. A solid carrot, let's put, changes when what? When cut, right? What about a gas? When did the gas change? Okay, gas spreads out, right? Or expands. Do you know which form of matter I forgot? What do you think it is? That's right, liquid. How does liquid change its shape? Okay, it changes when placed into a different container, right? For example, if you were to take the water out of your water bottle and put it in a jar that was shaped like Mickey Mouse, the water would look like Mickey Mouse, right? That's exactly what we're talking about. Okay, let's look at the caption we have. A liquid takes the shape of its container. Okay, and here's some fantastic examples. It might be the same amount of liquid, but when they're in different containers, sometimes it can look like more liquid, and other times it can look like a whole lot less liquid, right? Okay, the next caption is, air is a gas that fills this bubble. Okay, and you think about it, the air is giving that balloon a different shape. Okay? Can you figure out which sentences these pictures support? If not, go back and reread Changing Shape. See if you can find which sentences these two pictures here supports. Okay. Now let's go to Changing State. Sometimes when matter undergoes a change in temperature or pressure, it can change from one state of matter into another. And Miss Kuhn's thinking right now, the author should prove this, right? Let's read on. Water is a kind of matter that is usually thought of as a liquid, but it can exist in 3 states of matter. When water is very cold, it freezes and becomes ice. Frozen water, or ice, is solid matter. Okay, so let's stop and think so far. So, water is very special because why? That's right. Water can be all states of matter. And we're going to annotate that because that's important. Okay, let's read on. Solids have a definite shape and take up a definite amount of space. If water freezes in an ice cube tray, it has the shape of a cube. You can break this ice cube and you can change its size into smaller pieces of ice. However, it is still frozen water, just smaller pieces. Okay, and here again, it's kind of like when we were cutting the carrot. Okay, when it's frozen in an ice cube tray and then we break it and it becomes smaller pieces, or some of you have like ice makers that make kind of like moon crescents, right? Kind of like this coming out of your refrigerator. Okay, it takes a different shape also. Okay, let's read our caption. It says, frozen water or ice is a solid. It takes many shapes. Look at all the different shapes it can take. Okay, if we were going to annotate over here, what would we say? Okay, solids. It was all about solids, right? Solids have a definite shape. Right? What else would we say? That's right, their size can be cut smaller. Okay, and it is still frozen water, just smaller pieces. Okay, let's continue on. It says, for ice to change from a solid to a liquid state, it needs to be warmed up. When exposed to warmth, ice melts and becomes flowing liquid water again. What does exposed mean? When it's exposed to warmth. We know warmth is something warm, right? And if we see that ice melts, that must mean that ice is near, exposed must be near to warmth, right? Because if it melts, it would have to be in something warm. Okay, let's continue on. In the same way, liquid water can become a gas when heated. For example, when water in a pot on the stove boils, it starts to bubble. The bubbles are water in the form of a gas. The steam that rises from the pot is liquid water that has transformed into a gas. Transformed. We know what this word means. Okay, let's use our context clues. It says the steam that rises from the pot is liquid water that has transformed into a gas. So transformed must mean changed, right? That has changed into a gas. Okay, we know trans means change in form. Is either a shape or how something is, right? So transform means to change. Maybe you have transformers at home that change from robots into something else. Okay, paragraph 10. Water returns from a gas to a liquid when it is cooled. Okay, so how would we annotate this section here? Okay, let's look at paragraph 8. We learned that ice melts and becomes liquid when heated, right? Let's put solid ice. Okay. Paragraph 9 tells us that water heated and boiling, right? Steams, which is a gas. Okay? Okay, let's go to our caption. We have boiling water turns it from a liquid into a gas. Okay, and over here we have our liquid, right? And over here, we can see that it has turned into a gas. Okay, matter is everywhere. 3 different kinds of matter make up the world. Solid and liquid matter is all around and easy to see. Gas is all around us too, even though we cannot always see it. Each of the states of matter has properties, including size and shape. Some properties of matter can change. Some matter can even change from one state of matter into another. So we sure learned a lot about matter. We learned that it's everywhere. We learned that some forms of matter can change into other forms. And we also learned that matter can change size and shape. Okay, and then on the bottom we have a beautiful picture of mountains and an air balloon. It says everything in the world is matter. Okay, what do you think they mean by that? Do you know what form of matter these are that I'm coloring in now? What about the inside of this balloon? What form of matter is that? Okay, and what about this part here that I'm coloring in? What form of matter is that? Great job.